Something that you can do in 2021 that will bring true fulfillment and satisfaction in your life requires you to push one button every day. Stick around, let me explain. A couple of days ago, I was hanging out with Theo downstairs while Beth was getting ready upstairs. We were just about to leave for an appointment, and Beth had just come downstairs when Theo decided that it was time to poop in his diaper. So very quickly, I ran upstairs as fast as I could, changed his diaper, put his clothes back on in a hurry because it was time to leave, and ran back downstairs. When I got back downstairs, Beth laughed out loud and said, "Dad of the year." I had a moment of pride, but then I realized that I had actually taken Theo's onesie and buttoned it around his pants. I think that you can agree with me that generally speaking, we live our lives in a constant state of hurry. Hurry to get your homework done, hurry to get to school, hurry to get to practice, hurry to get downstairs for dinner. We're in a hurry constantly, but not only for important tasks that we have to do, but also in our mind. Our minds tend to be in a constant state of hurry. Stick with me as I hurry through this explanation. Now, as soon as I said hurry, I know a lot of you were thinking, I've been locked in my house for about a year now. I'm not in any hurry. And I know it's true, for a lot of us, hurry has been less of a problem than it used to be. We've been locked in our houses with nothing to do. But in 2021, I think that it's pretty difficult to find somebody who's not in a constant state of hurry that does have an internet access. If we're not hurrying on our way to something, we're typically hurrying to get done whatever we have to do in that moment in order to get to a form of relaxation or escape that we would choose for that day. You know, something like going and binge watching a show or playing video games all night. Listen, I know we rip on these things a lot, and I'm really not trying to make you feel guilty, but just think about this for 1 second. Even during those activities that are meant to be relaxing and a form of getting away from it all, we're in a hurry. Do you ever skip the intro of a show because you just want to get to the content? How about that excruciating long 15 seconds in between one show to another on Netflix? Do you ever click play next? I do, all the time. We are in such a constant state of hurry that even when we have a momentary lapse in our attention span, we pull out our phones and we start scrolling Instagram, or we start texting somebody, something to fill that void of space and time. We in 2021 consume this stuff as if it's food that we need to survive. Now listen, I'm no scientist, but we all know that this is so damaging to our mental health, but I'm here to tell you that this is also very detrimental to our spiritual health. Now, a few weeks ago, we talked about living water. There's this scene where Jesus walks up to this woman in Samaria at a well and explains to her that he could give her living water. Well, right after the scene, as this woman leaves, his disciples come up and say, "Hey Jesus, it's been a long journey. Come eat some food." Jesus then confuses his disciples, turns away the food, and responds like this. "But he said to them, I have food to eat that you know nothing about." They were so confused and thought that he had already eaten, but then Jesus says this, "My food," said Jesus, "is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work." This is crazy. Jesus, after a long journey, literally denies food and says, "I'm good, I got what I need." For the month of February, Beth and I are trying not to eat food past 7 o'clock, and it's killing us. So what did Jesus have that was so satisfying? It was to do the will of God, acting on what God had asked him to do day in and day out. Okay, knowing that Jesus is our example on how to live, let's take note of this and apply it to our own lives. Jesus goes on with a metaphor to explain to us that there are people all around us that need to hear about Jesus. And hands down, the most satisfying thing that we can possibly do is to go do the will of the Father, and that is go and tell people about Jesus, be Jesus's hands and his feet. Here's the thing, the culture that you and I live in is like a vacuum that doesn't allow for any time or space for us to reflect on God and what he wants us to do in our lives. We're in such a hurry that we don't have time to hear God explain to us where he wants us to go to be his hands and his feet. So please understand, with no guilt and no shame, here is my challenge for you this week. If you want to feel that same sense of satisfaction and fulfillment that Jesus was talking about, here's what I want you to do. For 10 minutes a day, the entire week, I want you to push the off button on your devices and leave them off. I want you to do this once a day for 7 days so that you can try and hear what God is trying to say to you that day. That's it. That's my challenge. All right, guys, that's it. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for making it this far. Goodbye.